Jeff Summers with Watch You Know. Today we're going to be checking out the Zeppelin LZ120 Rome model 7194-2. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Hello people. This is the Zeppelin LZ120 7194-2 Rome watch. I've heard it explained in different orders. For instance, LZ120 Rome, whatever. I mean, it's a long name. For today's purposes, we're just going to call it the Zeppelin Rome. All right, so there are many different types of Zeppelin Romes, and I'll actually go over some of the different options within Zeppelin later in this video. Also later in the video, we will hear a brief history of Zeppelin, and we'll take the watch outside, and of course I'm going to give you my opinion with my 3 favorite things about the watch and 3 least favorite things about the watch. So let's get into this here. Okay, so we have on the face, we're going to cover the face, then the side, then the back, the movement, and finally the strap. So this watch is a 41 diameter watch. So that's your size of the watch. Uses a mineral crystal glass on top. It's mineral crystal. It is domed. You can see. So that makes for some cool way the light hits the watch. It is water resistant to 50 meters. There is a chronograph on the watch. There is also a moon phase. So that's a genuine moon phase. It's not a sun and moon, which is kind of cool. I think moon phases are a little bit more rare. We have a date at 4 o'clock. There's no lume on the watch. The watch is entirely made in Germany. And this styling really brings back the short-lived German art movement of the early 20th century. In the early 1900s, this style watch took the industry by storm. And small stripped-down case with a clean front and thin hands. Now, this is not really a small stripped-down case. We've got a lot going on with the different complications, but really, it's done so tastefully. You know, they pack a lot in here, and it doesn't look overcrowded on the dial. All right, I think that's it for the front. Let's move on to the side here. All right, so we have it's polished, nice and shiny for you on the side. There is a crown, of course. We got 2 pushers, and there's a start and stop and the reset on the chronograph, just like a typical chronograph. The crown is not signed. The watch is 12 if it was 12 meters tall, that would be almost as tall as some Invictas. Oh, and by the way, I interrupt myself. Stay tuned for my next video, which I'm going to feature some humongous Invictas. So that'll be a fun video. But this watch is 12 millimeters tall. And we have a chronograph. And as usual, I'll show you how the watch works at this point. It's pretty simple. You push this start pusher for the chronograph, and then you stop it, and then you can, you know, reset it, and it flies all the way back. But the first take that I took on this watch, it was kind of cool because this spun around. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that take. I didn't like it. There's nothing complex about this watch. If we want to operate the chronograph, well, I guess it was running already. Oh, that's cool. We get to see that. All right, did you see how that spins around to reset it? All right. Now, the back of the watch. Very unique back of the watch. It is brushed, but it's brushed in a really interesting way. I mean, it just looks really utilitarian compared to this really classy side. So I kind of like that. Maybe you don't. All right. It has a unique thing on here. It's got a barcode. And I imagine that could be helpful for Zeppelin if you had to have the watch serviced or something along those lines. Or if the watch was stolen and you had taken a picture of the barcode, you could prove, hey, that's really my watch at the pawn shop when they're trying to sell it. And then you've got the Zeppelin symbol here. All right, so that's really the back of the watch. Next, let's take a gander at the strap and the buckle. It's genuine leather. It's a 22, size 22, so you can switch it out, which I would probably recommend. I will get into my opinion on this later on, but that might be a good idea. The buckle is not signed. It's a standard buckle. All right, so the movement, obviously this is a quartz movement. And how do you know? Well, that's because you can see this where it goes around and it ticks. You probably know that already if you're watching this. Maybe you don't. The quartz movement that's used in this watch is a pretty good one for quartz. It'll run you about $80 if you buy it all on your own. And that is an ETA G10.962E0. It's a Swiss-made movement. And as far as quartz movement goes, it's a pretty good one. And that's what powers our watch. And you should be able to get 38 months from the battery. And they use a 394 Renata Swiss battery in it. So there we go. Let's get a close-up and then we'll take you outside with this watch. We're outside with the Zeppelin Rome moon phase watch. I wanted to show you what it looks like outside so you can get an idea of how much glare is on the watch and what it looks like in the sunlight. So here we go. And the glare is it's doing great with glare, really. Very easy to read and a gorgeous design. Nice job, Zeppelin. I wanted to show you some of my favorite Zeppelins and recommend them to you. Maybe you like them as well. So you'll notice all of the different series of Zeppelins. The first series that we're going to look at is the Rome series. And why are we doing this? That is because today's review is a Zeppelin Rome watch. You'll see it appear here in just a second. Down, and that they have it listed as number 71942. So if you like the look of this watch but not the exact coloring, or if you don't want the moon phase, you can see there's some other options. Next, I want to show you the most expensive Zeppelin, and that is the Zeppelin Chronometer Glass Hut Observatory. So let's check this out. This watch goes for just under $3,000. It uses an ETA Vajoy 7753 movement, and it is striking. So that's the pinnacle of all Zeppelin watches, in my opinion. So maybe you like that too. If you're looking at a more expensive Zeppelin, well then there you go. Here's a really cool one I'm going to show you next. It is on the Night Cruise line. It's model 72602 in all black, except for a touch of red. that red is the power reserve indicator, but it uses a modified Citizen W9100 movement. And it is a fantastic looking watch. It's about in the middle range of what you find for Zeppelin watches, around 500 bucks. Now, the next series of watches I'm going to take you through is one of the more popular, and that's the Graf Zeppelin lineup. And you can really pick up a Graf Zeppelin pretty cheaply. I mean, compared to, now some of them are more expensive. You see some here. They're going for over $500, and they're showing this in euros, but $400 to $500. But you can buy one of these great Zeppelins up here for just over $200. And no, it's not an automatic watch, but it's a beautiful design, and you have a GMT and a hand-finished case, all for around $200. So these are the watches that I recommend from Zeppelin, and maybe you like them too and want to check them out on your own time. Okay, so my opinion of the Zeppelin LZ120 model 7194-2 of the Zeppelin Rome series. I'll give you 3 things that I don't like about this watch and 3 things that I do. Let's start with what I don't like. And these are 3 pretty big things that I don't like. They're pretty big. And I hate to be party pooper, but the moon phase is broken. I tried to reset it, tried to see if I could fix it. I've called Mark up at Long Island Watches, and between the two of us, we've really determined that it is broken. And that makes me very sad. I'm going to have to send it back to the company for that reason, because I love moon phases, but I don't love it when they don't work. So it's been stuck in this position since I've got the watch. Second thing I don't like about this watch is the battery life. I don't know if we'll see it here, but we might see this secondhand jump. Of course, it's one of those times where now it's going to act great. But if you ever see your secondhand jumping, and it's a quartz watch, as this is, where it stops and then it jumps ahead like 2 seconds, well, that means that the battery is about to die. And this shouldn't be dying yet, because this watch is pretty new. It's about a month old. So disappointed about that. Okay, and the third thing that I don't like about this watch is the strap and the buckle. The buckle is not such a big deal. What I don't like about it is that I think they could have done something with it. They could have put the Zeppelin logo on it. And they didn't. That's not such a big deal. But what really is a big deal to me is, you see how this is fraying? Maybe we can even get a bigger close-up, a better close-up there. The leather is starting to fray, and it shouldn't. It's only about a month old, and I certainly don't wear this watch every day, so I don't get that. It seems that the timepiece itself is made much better than the strap, and of course you could change it out. And again, they're using a I think it's a 22. Yeah, it's a 22 millimeter band. All right. The 3 things that I like most about this watch, first of all, is the overall design. I just think it's a really attractive design. You've got your Roman numerals, the moon phase, love that, and how there is no bezel. It's just the the mineral crystal is going all the way and the dial is going all the way out. So it just really is a nice look. That made in Germany on the bottom. That's just beautiful. The second thing I like about the watch is the case back. Now, you might think, well, that's a really unusual thing to like about the watch, of all the things to like. But I do like how it's brushed here, and on the sides it's polished, and the way it's brushed, it's really nice. And they've got the logo and that barcode, which can make it helpful if the watch gets stolen. You know, it's good for record keeping, and some people may not like that, but I think that can be helpful. The third thing that I like about this watch is the fact that it's made in Germany. And I have a variety of Swiss watches, and I have Japanese watches, and yes, I have a few Chinese watches. But this is the first true German watch that I've had, and I know that German engineering or German quality is something that is really touted in many products, and I think that they have a lot to offer in the world of watches, and this is a assured example of that. So that's my opinion on the Zeppelin LZ120. In the world of watchmaking, Zeppelin is fairly new. Therefore, one cannot expect an illustrious and industry-changing impact on horology, such as the likes of Tissot, Glycine, Seiko, and Rolex. To trace back the origins of the Zeppelin brand, we really need to start with PointTec. PointTec is the parent company of Zeppelin and is headed by Wilhelm Burke. In 2002, PointTec put out the Zeppelin brand, and that is how it began. The Zeppelin brand looked towards the pioneers of early aviation. Airships were all the rage in the early 1900s and a result of technological perseverance. Traveling in Zeppelins was the ultimate high and reserved for only the elite. In celebration of the classical and majestic mode of transport, the Zeppelin watches feature an airship motif on their dials. A good degree of the parent company's PointTec's success is based on the success of Zeppelin. All Zeppelin watches are made in Germany and are developed and designed by highly qualified specialists. Zeppelin and PointTec uses first-class suppliers who also supply makers of luxury watches with parts and components. The key principle of Wilhelm Burke is to offer customers high-quality watches at the best possible price and performance ratio. In the lower price segments, Zeppelin and PointTec generally use quartz movements, but these are good quartz movements made by ETA and Ronda. As of today, the PointTec brand is amongst the largest watch manufacturers in Germany, with many brands in its portfolio, including Yonkers, Maximilian München, and most recently Bahaus, and of course, Zeppelin. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I did want to mention that you can follow me and Watch You Know on a few different platforms. On Instagram, it's Watch You Know 1970. On Twitter, it's Watch You Know 1, the digit 1. And on TikTok, it's just Watch You Know. So consider doing that and have a great day.